Hey everybody, morning from the well-sorted shop. Doing a little video today to do a walk around of the 70 Series LandCruiser we built. So this truck came in last year, was a full frame-off restoration, paint job, some interior work, but the real showcase is under the hood. We did a Cummins R2.8 install on this truck. So it's a pretty cool combo, original imported JDM style cruiser with a Cummins motor, brand new turbodiesel, a pretty nice setup, awesome to drive. So let's go take a look at it. Alright, exterior walk around time. Check out this LJ70. So we brought this truck in. It was a import from South America, pretty rusty, had a decent paint job on it, hiding a lot of Bondo and fillers. So blasted this thing down to bare metal and started to repair. We had a second truck actually, took a lot of donor panels out of. Basically new quarters, new rockers, a couple patches up around the roof, some work around the windshield, kind of all the typical cruiser rust spots had to be addressed. So we spent quite a bit of time going through, repairing all the sheet metal, had the body completely off the frame. Got the frame sandblasted, repainted and repaired some places on the frame. The whole frame's painted in a nice chassis black. And took this thing to the paint shop, laid down a nice base coat clear coat system with the new TRD Pro cement gray that comes on your modern 4Runners and such. So kind of a cool vintage rig with a little bit of a modern color on it. We stuck with a kind of a subtle blackout trim look here. So took the bumpers and the rockers and the grill and all the trim and basically made it all black. Some of these things had like chrome handles, so we took chrome handles off to the powder coater, got those chromed in a satin black, made sure all the window surrounds and everything were satin black. So kind of a nice look, a little bit of a modern touch on this classic ride. Just doing a quick walk around here. So starting at the front, the classic, there's actually a BJ70 front end on this truck. The owner liked the look of the BJ70 grill better, so we swapped the nose off this guy. So it's got the round headlights instead of the squares and the black kind of mesh grill. And then we did a bumper from Coastal Off-Road. So they sell a kit for the 70 series, but it doesn't quite fit the BJ body. So we actually did a fair bit of mods to get this thing grafted in and did some work right here on the fender wings to make them look good, and then packed a worn 8,000-pound synthetic winch back in there behind it. So kind of a nice little front end, protects the truck and also gives some utility with the winch on there. Coming down the side here, taking a look, wheel and tire package. So these are American Racing wheels, 17 by 8s, and then we're running a 285/70/17, which is basically a 34-inch tire, BFG KO2, a good all-around tire we use on a lot of builds. Pretty nice little package. The rockers are protected again by a Coastal Off-Road package, so they make a rock slider for the 70 series. We took that, made some mods to it, put those guys on. And then as you can see, the owner put some vinyl on there because he got tired of so many questions of what is this thing. So he just put it right on the side. It's an LJ70. Coming around, you can see the truck has a nice rear bumper setup. So dual swing out system. This is made by our friends at Cruiser Outfitters in Salt Lake City. Really cool bumper. It's got integrated lights. Swing on the left hand side is modular. You can put whatever you want. We've got a jerry can holder. On the right hand side we've got a tire carrier, and these things are super cool because they are attached to the ambulance doors. So when you open the door, the swing out opens with it. No fuddling around with latches or anything. Really nice system. Wish some of our lift-up tailgate type trucks here in the U.S. could do stuff like that, because if you try to load groceries when you got tire swings, it's a pain in the butt. Coming around further, again, just continuing to look here. The roof has a rack from Front Runner on it, a number of accessories. This truck actually gets used real hard. It's out in the woods a lot. It's out on the trails, camps out of it. So, despite it being a very high-end build, the owner uses it, drives it, which is exactly what we want to see. So really cool little truck, fun to drive around town, and good on the trails, short wheelbase, fits down tight, narrow stuff really well. Pretty slick little package. The most important part maybe is under the hood. So when we brought this truck in, it had the 2LT motor from Toyota, a small 2-liter turbo diesel. Not a bad engine, but old technology. It's mid-80s diesel tech, and it was pretty worn out. So the owner's first request was, let's yank that thing out of there and let's put in the new Cummins R2.8. So we're going to pop the hood and show you what's going on under there. See this slick new turbodiesel from Cummins that gives this kind of classic ride a lot more modern performance and power to get down the road. All right, the fun part, the motivation under the hood here. So as I said, this is a Cummins R2.8 turbodiesel 4-cylinder. So these are available direct from Cummins or through dealers such as ourselves. They are around $8,000 for a package crate motor that includes the engine, computer, and wiring harness. So it's quite a good deal. Cummins rates these at 160 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. So kind of a nice mid-range performance level, really good for these small kind of two-door trucks, really great for the Jeep market. Smaller rigs, good trail rigs, and really nice performance for that type of vehicle. I think in the big 4-door and full sizes, it's a little bit of a small engine. We're hoping Cummins releases either the 5-liter or the big brother to this that's a 3.8 liter. But for now, we've been building these into a number of different vehicles. Cool little package because it's really quite small, as you can see. It's a 4-cylinder engine. So common rail turbo diesel. We've got down on the passenger side here. It's kind of tough to see back down in here is the turbocharger. So it's got a nice little whole set turbocharger packaged in there. We've got intake piping coming down to it, and then you can see the discharge pipe which comes up front to the intercooler. Up front we did modify the cooling pack, of course. The radiator moved back a few inches so we could fit a nice intercooler from Mishimoto in there. And then we built a custom mechanical fan setup because this truck lives in Utah. Sees a lot of high temp, hot weather riding, so we didn't think electric fans were going to cut it. On the driver's side over here, we've kind of got typical stuff, batteries tucked in back there. You can see the computer hiding back there. This is where the discharge pipe comes out of the intercooler and runs to the throttle body for the engine. So pretty big, open airflow setup we've got in front here. We really wanted to make sure we get good, cool charge air. And this thing performs awesome. You drive down the road, it's got tons of power. It gets really great economy, maybe 25 miles per gallon, depending on how heavy your foot is. And the torque curve is super awesome for a little truck like this. So you just step into it, you hear the boost spool up, and the thing goes. The part you can't see behind the engine is the transmission adapter. So our friend Chad at Quick Draw Brand makes a bunch of different adapters for these engines. This one in particular is the Toyota adapter to the R151 transmission. So this truck came factory with a 5-speed R151. And we bought the bell housing adapter from Chad and bolted it right up. It's a really simple solution for the R2.8 installs, and he's got Jeep adapters, Toyota adapters, Land Rover adapters, all different kinds of stuff, depending on what you want to put one of these guys in. Behind that, stock T-case. We have axles with lockers built into them. Gearing is 411s, which works out pretty well with the Cummins power band and the tire package we're running. So overall, just kind of a nice little combo for a wheeling rig and a driver. The owner's already put, I think, about 7,000 miles on this truck since he took it from us, and he's just loving it. So we brought it back for a little bit of service work, just do fluid changes, check up on everything, and it's going back out on the trails. You'll see this guy out in the trails in Utah and Colorado and Arizona, New Mexico area. He does a lot of riding in the summertime. The key element of that is we added vintage air to this unit, and we've got a nice air conditioning system, keeps the cabin cool. He put a little subwoofer in there, so he's got some speakers and booming the tunes. So it's a fun truck out on the trail. Next, we'll take a look at the interior so you can see not a whole lot going on there, mostly stock, but let's go check out the inside. All right, a quick tour of the interior of the LJ70 here. So mostly we stayed stock. These have a cool utilitarian vibe with a vinyl floor on this one. The dash is kind of blocky and looks like, just kind of a mid-80s industrial Toyota truck. So we stuck with most of that. The one problem with the truck, the seats were real tore up. So we ended up doing a custom set of mounts to put a pair of best top buckets in here. So these are kind of nice, comfortable high back buckets, a little more suited to especially taller guys. The owner's a little bit taller like me, and way more comfortable than the original seats. We had to do a custom bracket to get them on the factory slider because nobody sells things for these 70s, but overall it came together nicely. The dash, mostly stock, so we work real hard to adapt and make everything look OEM. So we kept factory gauges and using some signal converters. We've got the Cummins reading, the tachometer, everything, temp sensors are all in the Cummins motor. We've got the oil pressure sensor in the Cummins motor, so everything looks stock when you look at the cluster here, but overall it works well. We've got one extra gauge here, the Murphy gauge that comes with the Cummins, so that gives you some readout and some diagnostic tools. And then next to it, the super cool LandCruiser kind of tilt meters and altimeters, so the whole onboard readout is really nice. Coming below, we did a simple upgrade to a modern kind of doubled-in stereo. And then down here, there's a couple, can't see them real well, but these are AirB air locker switches, so we can control the rear air locker on this thing. Center console is a unit from Tuffy, again custom bracket. Inside that console we've got mounted a CB and GMRS radio for use out on the trail with the clubs he runs with. So yeah, that was about it. Really, like I said, try to stick to the factory look, keep this thing looking clean as possible, and you know, use what we had, because the design of the 70 series is so cool to begin with. So there she is, LJ70 R2.8. Pretty cool combo. We hope you enjoy this build. It's a pretty fun truck for us. We've got it back just for a little service, and we're going to be sending her back home just in another day or so here. But yeah, take a look at it. There's some more info on our website if you want to look at some detailed build pictures. And hit us up in the comments if you got any specific questions. We're happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, and hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot.